14 WILI and 95.3 FM presents Hometown Threads, a closer look at our community and the people that make it go. Every week, you'll hear uplifting stories from our local businesses and our neighbors. Now, here's our host for Hometown Threads, Keith C. Rice.
Welcome into episode 124 of Hometown Threads on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM in Willimantic Today Facebook and Spectrum 192. There's only one place to hear Hometown Threads, and that's on the radio every Tuesday from 5:05 to 5:30. Brought to you by Liberty Bank, B Community Kind, with three great local locations across the street from the radio station at 679 Main Street, Willimantic, 1703 West Main Street, managed by my wife, Marianne, and down the road in Mansfield on Route 195, Liberty Bank, B Community Kind. J. Matt Rupar, if you'd be so kind, say hello to the fine folks.
Hello.
As I mentioned, you can watch Hometown Threads on a few platforms, Willimantic Today Facebook. I mentioned Spectrum 192. Of course, YouTube. That's why we got to encourage people to subscribe to the WILI YouTube channel. Just search WILI Radio. You can watch Hometown Threads and all our other great talk shows. Again, WILI Radio. That's how you search for our YouTube channel. Big thanks to Mark Tripoli, who's the podcast sponsor for Hometown Threads. You can listen to not only Hometown Threads, but all our shows at WILI.com. Big thanks to Tripoli Pro Clean Services for sponsoring the podcast of Hometown Threads. Now, if you'd step a little closer to the mic here, sir. Our guest for episode 124 of Hometown Threads is, you may recognize the face. He's a Willimantic native. Well, I should say I'm a Lebanon native. I grew up in Lebanon, Willimantic town line. I grew up with basically in the Wyndham school systems, growing up with this guy here, Mike Haggerty.
Keith, how are you?
Hags, good to have you in here.
Thanks.
Just had you on a couple weeks ago on the new show that I'm doing, the Friday Duncan Sports Scene with Keith and Quavisto. So it's a pleasure to have you in studio now. We had you on the phone with the sports show there a couple weeks ago, but I wanted to get you on Hometown Threads for a while, so glad to have you.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be here.
Well, Mike does a lot. Has done a lot of things in this community as well. He was a Willimantic police officer for 20 and a half years?
Correct.
Okay, so you did that for 20 and a half years. Now he's the offensive coordinator for Wyndham High Football. And how many years have you been doing that?
Altogether, about 28 total.
Wow, it's been okay. And
it was like off and on, here and there.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Oh, I see. What did you, was that the first sport you coached at Wyndham, or you were involved with wrestling too back in the day, right?
The first sport I coached at Wyndham was wrestling.
That's right.
And then football. And then baseball.
Wow, so let's go way back when you and I were growing up here, because we know each other from Little League. You know my parents, I knew your parents.
Yep.
Dan and Linda, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Hello to Dan and Linda. They've been down in Florida for years now, right?
Correct.
And you're heading down there after football season.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Very lucky, very lucky. So we grew up playing Willimantic Little League together. Where'd you go to grade school?
Noble Elementary School, which is now the dorms.
That's right, because you went to back when we were growing up, there was Noble, there was Natchog, St. Mary, St. Joseph, where I went from 2nd to 6th. Did you end up going to Kramer?
Ended up going to Kramer after that, and then the high school. Yep.
Yeah, after 6, I left St. Mary, St. Joseph, because all my friends were going to Kramer, and I begged my parents to
let you come up with us.
Right, the tougher crowd. No, but we grew up playing baseball together, and let's see, you were on the Elks.
Yes.
I was on medical pharmacy. Those were some good days, huh?
Yeah, oh man. Remember those uniforms, how heavy?
That's right. Now, what the Elks were purple and gray,
Purple and gray.
Oh, I remember that. Medical pharmacy.
Baby blue.
Blue and baby blue. Now, you're the same age as me, right? Were you class of 90?
89.
Okay. Oh, so you graduated a year before me. Okay. So then going through Willimantic Little League, on to Kramer. You went on to play like 3 different sports at Wyndham, right? I
did my freshman year, and then I just focused on wrestling all throughout the season.
So it was just you were strictly wrestling?
Wrestling, yep.
But you did, what did you do your first year?
Baseball.
Baseball?
Baseball. Didn't know football was too small back then. That was a lot of kids.
Yeah, okay, so you didn't, I kept thinking you played football, but no, you were a big time wrestler. And, but why only 1 year in baseball?
I wanted to focus on
just
wrestling.
Focus on wrestling, strictly wrestling.
Yep.
So now I've had Coach Crudden in here. I think I've had another wrestler on it. I don't think just thinking of the Crudden interview. Talk a little about those wrestling years, because you and I we bumped into each other at Trolley Pub not too long ago, and we were going on and on. You were telling me not just stories, but you guys were stacked for so many years, right?
Yeah, we were. And it started in Kramer for us for wrestling.
Oh, talk a little about that. Yeah.
Danny Martineau took a bunch of us, myself, Paul
God rest
Hussey.
his soul. Yeah.
Yep. David Alvarez, Jason Henry, Jason Bentley, Sean Weed, Victor Soto, all of us. We were all young in the 8th grade group, and he took us to all these different tournaments, this and that.
So Danny Martineau got the ball rolling, pretty much.
He's one that started us in 8th grade at Kramer, and then we worked out in the summer, at the WOW, Wyndham Organized Wrestling Program. Then we went to tournaments in the summer, our 8th grade year.
Wow.
My father had the camper, the RV. We all put the kids in there. We took off.
So you guys really created a nice little bond there.
Right. And then we moved up to the high school with Coach Crudden. And
so Crudden must have known this was happening. You guys were coming, right? I'm sure Martineau and Crudden kind of tight?
Yeah, because Danny would come up, Mr. Martineau would come up in the high school and stuff and check on us.
So it's like the
and everything
farm
else.
system going on at Kramer.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, and then Coach Crudden, he shaped us. He shaped us
All
at
right,
that
let's
point.
get into that. So Coach Martineau, the late great Coach Martineau, got you ready in Kramer again, like a little farm system for Wyndham High Wrestling. What was it like going from Martineau to Crudden? And tell us a little about how Crudden molded you guys.
Well, the old wrestling room at the high school, there's only 2 doors really, so. And when they shut, they shut. There's no windows. There's nothing else. So.
Oh, I remember that little wrestling room.
Yes, the hot room.
That was hot.
Yep, the old white.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I vaguely remember that. All right.
So once you got in his room, hey, you were all his, Coach Crudden. He demands a lot out of you, which I loved. I mean, he's my mentor. There's no doubt about it. That's the reason why I do so much coaching as well. He's one of the best guys I've ever run into and had the pleasure of working with and being an athlete for him.
So it must be he might obviously not just you, but he's proud of all of his when he was in here, he brought you up. He was in here a while ago, but yeah, he's brought so many people, so many athletes along. So he kind of inspired you to become a coach then.
Yeah, as far as high school coaching and everything else.
So tell me, first of all, are there any great wrestling stories you can think of on the top of your head? Well, you got your Wyndham Athletics swag. He's getting ready to go to practice pretty soon, right after this. Talk a little about, what was it like, those teams? Was it 86 through 89?
Yep.
And talk about what year you did win a state championship. You won it.
Yes, 89.
89, you won the state championship.
Correct.
Talk a little about that, being a state champion that year.
So our freshman year we came up, they had just won the state championship in 85.
Oh, all right.
With Bud Peachy and all those guys that were there. We used to come up and watch them. Our freshman year we came up, guys like, Scott Rogers, rest his soul as well. My cousin Mike Haggerty, they were all like the upperclassmen.
Really?
And they showed us what Wyndham Wrestling is about from there. And Coach Crudden was tough. I mean, he was demanding. You were there every single day. You put in the work, and you weren't getting out of that room, except for maybe one water break throughout the 2.5 hour practice.
I was about to ask you, how long? 2.5 hours, huh?
Yep.
And tell us about I know Crudden demanded they wanted the best out of you and all that. What was, for someone who, me and my cousin Jeff Bennett used to wrestle just for fun. My uncle, John Bennett, very tight with Crudden. Me and Jeff used to have some, and Jeff and I are extremely tight. He's the best man at my wedding. But Jeff and I used to wrestle a lot. And I remember Coach Crudden and my Uncle John, they wanted me to wrestle. And I wasn't interested in wrestling. But Jeff and I had some pretty classic matches. But I kind of used to hang out at those practices. But I can't really remember. What goes on for 2.5 hours that consists of, what makes it such a great, what makes a great wrestling practice?
So with Coach Crudden, you're working. You get in, you do your stretching. The captains run all the stretching. You do your warm-up drills. And then from there, he introduces a new technique, new wrestling move. You go and practice it. Then you do, the worst thing is chains, which is a drill that we do. There's 13 lengths of an escape takedown, both guys. It's a lot of work. So you're reviewing your match in the beginning, then you do your technique, and then at that you do some live wrestling within your circuit groups. Jeff was in my circuit group a lot.
Oh, okay.
Because we're around the same weight class. And then from there, conditioning. So after 2 hours, you're exhausted from practice. God. And then coach their conditioning.
Now, for someone who's a football coach, too, what's the difference between a wrestling practice and a football practice? What's more draining? It sounds like wrestling is.
Wrestling's very draining because you're in that room that's about 90 degrees every day.
Wow.
You're soaked. Everything's soaked. The walls are wet. And you got, back then we had 40 guys in that little room.
Oh,
you remember that room?
I remember that. 40 guys in that room.
Yep. So,
wow.
You get kicked, you get hit, but...
So with all those great guys, that you were mentioning coming up through Kramer with Martineau and into Wyndham. Why did it take? I know you had some great seasons, but why did it take you all the way till '89 to finally win a state championship? I know there were other great teams you wrestled against.
So we obviously our freshman sophomore year we were learning.
Okay.
We had some guys that were there before us that still were part of the team. Our junior year, we had a really, really good team. We were Class L, and that year, for some reason, we got bumped up to double L.
Oh, wow.
And we had to square off with NFA.
Oh.
So we took second in the double Ls to NFA, even though we had wrestled them and beat them during the regular season. But in the tournament, it's more individual, so the points are different. And we didn't match up with NFA in the state tournament that well that year. So we got bounced up to double L and took second. And then we got put back down to L.
Why do they go back and forth like that?
Supposedly population.
Population. Huh. And then that's what led you into the championship season of '89.
Correct. '89 that was our great year. Do you
remember what your regular season record was? Or
I think my regular season record that year was...
it's you personally, right? Because wrestling, it's an individual record.
Individual
right?
And team, right.
Okay, so what was your individual, what was the team record?
So I believe my individual was 23-2.
Wow.
And then our team one, we lost our opening match at home against Hand.
Really?
Yeah, that was...
To open the season?
Yep.
Okay.
At home, because we thought we were too good.
Was that an upset? Was Hand?
It was an upset.
What were you guys ranked going into the season? Do you remember?
Oof.
I know it was a while back, but...
I know we were in the top 5 that year.
Okay, so Wyndham was in the top 5, all right.
And then we lost to Hand. And
Hand wasn't ranked, it sounds like, right?
No. And,
How did Crudden handle that one? How did Crudden handle that one?
Well, we stayed and talked in the wrestling room. I say talk for about 45 minutes after that match. And the next day in practice, thank God back then the opening day was on a Thursday, and we had a tournament Saturday. But Friday's practice, there was no talking in practice, no nothing. Coach.
Wow. Now, I know Coach, too. You probably know him a little better than I do, but he's not like a Bobby Knight. He wasn't throwing chairs.
No. No. He didn't have to. It was just his presence.
Yeah, his presence, definitely. What a great guy. All right, so what was the I have so many questions about what was the wrestling lineup like? What when it came down to the state championship, who were the main? Well, you guys all wrestle, right?
Right, we did. So it was mostly seniors, of course.
Mostly seniors.
There was 5 of us in the individual state championship that year. 5, yeah. Yeah, myself, Kurt Jenkins, Chris Cawley, David Alvarez, and Jamie Poulin.
So Wyndham had to pick 5.
No, so it's by weight classes.
Oh, by weight classes.
So there was 13 weight classes then, and we had 5 of us in the championship individual matches. 4 of us won. Chris Cawley took second.
Wow. So by Cawley finishing second, you guys, who'd you guys beat in the championship?
The funny thing is, it was at Hand High School.
Oh, it was at Hand.
And we blew Hand out in the state tournament. So
there you go, a little revenge. Yeah. And who'd you end up wrestling in the final again?
For myself, individually?
Yeah, from what school? A kid
I had one from New Milford.
Okay, so
yeah.
I see. You wrestled someone from New Milford. Jenkins could have wrestled someone from another.
Right.
Okay. And then, so you ended up winning your match, right?
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Brian Roberts, 3-2.
He remembers it. Look at that.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, so let's get into a little Wyndham football. Well, before we get into that, I know it's been kind of a down year. Not just a down year for Wyndham, but all local high school. It's been kind of a down year. Well, except I guess for Killingly, but they're in our area here. You got Wyndham. You got Bacon, Lime, and I'm still getting used to the co-ops here. And then there's Coventry, Bolton, Wyndham Tech. It's been a down year for a lot of those schools. But we'll come back to football. I want to talk a little about your years as I almost said state trooper, as a Willimantic police officer. Let's back up. Go at the end of high school. What did Mike Haggerty want to do? What was Hags thinking he wanted to pursue?
So at the end of high school, before my junior year, I'd already committed to the Army.
That's right. I had a feeling you were military. Okay. Yeah.
So I had that commitment I had to do. So I went away after high school. But at the same time, my senior year, I got recruited to Southern to wrestle for Coach Knopf.
Oh.
So
let's get into that.
It was tough with the military. The only thing that saved me with the military where I was able to come back and do it was Coach Knopf was a colonel in the Connecticut National Guard. So I was able to come back, and on the weekends, he would do my drills individually.
No kidding.
Because he was my
you
wrestling
could do that,
coach.
Huh?
He did. Back then, you could.
Back then, you could, right.
I mean, that's a long time ago now.
How about that? You come home and he'd do your drills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're doing that. Military?
Yep, military, going to school at Southern. Then the wrestling program there, because of Title IX, which is nothing wrong with it, they had to get rid of the wrestling program after my second year there. So I came back to Eastern. And at Eastern, Coach Cruden, and went up there and I started coach. He asked me to coach wrestling with him.
Because obviously Eastern didn't have wrestling, so you're kind of done with the whole wrestling thing, but you still loved it. So Coach Cruden brought you up?
Brought me up to coach with him that first year because Coach Adams, who was my assistant, he had left and moved to California. He had an opening, so I applied, and Coach Cruden took me in, and it worked out that year.
Now, and how many years did you? You coached with Cruden on the wrestling team for how many years?
So with Coach Cruden, I coached with him that 1 year. Pat Rizzi moved back, and he was teaching in the system. But that second year, I went over and started the Wyndham Tech wrestling program.
You did?
I did back then.
Oh, so you left Cruden after a year, went over to Wyndham Tech and started that.
Started that program. I was there for, what was it, from 93 to 2000.
Tell us a little about your 7 years there.
It was fun. The first year, we didn't have a lot of kids and stuff. Then we built the program, became very competitive. The biggest part of the Wyndham Tech program is we lost to Coach Cruden by 1 point.
Wow.
In a match, that? My sixth
You went up
year.
against me. I don't even remember you telling me. I don't think you told me. You went up against your mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And what was this, like 1999, 2000?
Around 99, 98, yep.
So when you knew that, you must have been nervous going up against him, right?
Nah, it was fun. I wanted it. I was young, a little bit young and cocky and I wanted to.
So you lost by a point?
Yep, because we were in the match and, David Santangelo, my wrestler, we had a tech fall match won, but if he had gone and pinned the kid, then we could have, outright won it instead of tied it. So we went for it and he got sloppy and ended up getting caught. So
what did Coach have to say to you after that? First of all, he must have been very proud of what you had accomplished at Wyndham Tech.
Oh yeah, coach is coach. That's just the way it is. It was great. It was fun.
But he probably wanted to beat you too, right?
Oh, of course. He doesn't want anyone to beat.
All right. So what made you leave Wyndham Tech after 2000?
That's when I became a cop.
Oh, okay. So tell us about that transition. You got the Wyndham Tech wrestling program off the ground. You did that for 7, 8 years. And then what made you say, I want to leave this and go on to my next venture? What was that?
To be honest with you, I want to do 20 years, get a pension instead of 35 with teaching and then having to pay for medical.
Really?
To be honest. And the other part of it is Chris Rude, Alex Coriati, Paul Hussey were all cops in Willimantic that I went to school with.
Yep.
We're all friends. And they said, hey, go take the test, go do this, and get in.
That's very cool. Mike Haggerty's with us here, episode 124 of Hometown Threads on WILI and Willimantic today, Spectrum 192, brought to you by Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. So, that's nice. You had that camaraderie, and those are some bunch of great guys you just mentioned. So you guys were all in the force together for how many years?
Well, Paul and I, let's see, Paul was there 4 years.
Paul's been a guest here.
Yeah, and then Paul became my chief. Imagine
right.
that, growing up together, because Paul and I were friends.
So you were still in the force and Paul became chief?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so you didn't retire too long ago then?
No, 4 years ago now.
4 years ago. So tell us a little bit. So you and Alex, I wonder, God be with him. I wonder, have you heard any news about?
We went to a breakfast last week, Alex and I. We for another retiree guy. So
I
got to see Alex. Yeah, he looks pretty good. He's back up to 200. He's gained a lot of weight.
Great.
So.
I did see a picture of him recently. He looked good. So
yeah.
I got to shoot him a message. But so you were on the force with Alex, then Paul became your chief.
Yep.
Chris Rude.
Chris
Must
Rude
have been
was
great. Must have been a nice little fraternity there, right?
Yeah, all of us that grew up and everything else,
And you guys were all pretty much on the same force. Did anyone retire? Wait, did Paul? Who stepped down before you?
So Chris Rude was the first one to retire because of his years. Then Alex. Then myself. I beat Paul out because Paul was chief, so he had to stay.
So what makes you said 20 and a half years. How do you know when it's like, okay, it's time?
A lot of changes. Law enforcement, there's a lot of changes. When I first started back in 2001, policing was different. There was different people there. The communities were different. This community's changed a lot. A lot of the people that have been here, obviously older, have either passed away or moved away. Like when I first came here as a police officer, it was great because a lot of people in town, I know everybody, obviously.
Yeah.
Like yourself, you know everybody in town. You can't go anywhere without people knowing. But I miss a lot of those, I want to say old timers, but now, because I used to just stop. I see them on the street, stop, talk to them,
How do you think things are, what's your view on how the police department is now compared to when, compared to when you were on the force?
I think there's a lot more scrutiny on it. Nationally, it's not a great take the last few years. It's been a bad spot. But these guys work hard. The stuff that you have to do, the training nonstop, the stuff that you have to write.
The training wasn't. I'm sure the training was difficult for you, but you think increase the level of difficulty with that?
I don't know if it's a difficulty or more learning about litigation. That's the biggest thing in the academies now is learning about litigation, and everything is, you got to watch everything you do.
And, just you're right. We're in different times now, absolutely different times. So, well, congratulations on your retirement. It's been, 4.5 years now?
Yeah.
So, besides offensive coordinator for Wyndham High Whips, what else are you doing? Besides, you go to Florida in the offseason.
Mm-hmm. And I come back and head coach of baseball at the high school at Wyndham.
So he's also head coach of Wyndham High Baseball. So tell a little about the baseball team, and then we'll kind of come full circle and talk a little football.
Okay. So, baseball, in Willimantic, it's crazy. We were talking about it tonight. There's 2 teams where we had 8 major teams and 8 minor league teams when we played.
I know.
They have 2 teams down there.
You think it's a lack of just kids' interest with the kids, or what?
I think so. And, I'll say the computers, the phones, everything
Absolutely.
like that.
I'm right there with you. I know. It's just a generation.
Absolutely. Like when we were younger, because I lived with the Poolins and Adamses, Clinton.
Right on Southridge.
Yeah, we just got on the bikes in the morning, went down to Legion Field. We're there all day, just playing baseball.
Yep.
Same, yeah. We're always down the field.
Well, you're right. I think the phones and the computer, the laptops, and the just the video games have taken over. But there was a lot more kids playing baseball back then. So you're the head coach of the baseball team. You enjoy a few months in Florida, but right now wrapping up again, it hasn't been that great of a football season, not just for Wyndham, but as I mentioned, the other ones, Coventry, Bolton, Wyndham Tech, Bacon, Lyman, all having down seasons. But as we talked about, we've had Coach Prozone, we've had you on Duncan Friday Sports Scene. It's just you got to chalk it up to the kids are young. But here's the thing: you guys are what, 1-8?
1-8.
How do you are the kids still dedicated? Are they showing you that they want to come back and try harder next year?
Yeah, our kids that we have, they're all there. We've never had a lot of kids. Like I know Randall said the same thing. We've had between 25 and 30 kids for football, which is not a lot for 2 programs, varsity and JV. But our kids are there. They're dedicated. They're young, very young. But they've been in the weight room a lot. They watch film with us. They're in the weight room. They're learning. They're working hard every day, and they're looking forward to the summer because we have a whole
That's good
setup.
Because I always wondered back when we were growing up. Look, we all been on teams that didn't do too well. When I'm trying to think back when we were on a 1-8 team, you were bummed out. But I wonder how the kids are at that age these days when you're 1-8. Do they? I want to go home and play on my phone. But that's good. They're still interested. They want to come back and work hard and get it right. And it sounds like it could be a promising future.
Yeah, we have the 12. We call it the freshman group. There's 12 freshmen. They sit with each other at team dinners. They sit in the back of the locker room together. They're all pretty tight together. So that's the encouraging part.
They don't sit all together in a circle on their phones, right?
No phones.
Oh, you take the phones away during practice?
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
They know the phones have to be put away for practice. Film, lifting, all the phones. For film and lifting, they put them up on the desk, all their phones.
Very good, very good. I want the Whips in the state championship this time next year. Come on, let's go.
We're trying. We'll try.
All right, well, best of luck and wrapping up the season. Wyndham in Montville, 6 o'clock kickoff Tuesday night. The show's being taped on a Monday, so get over to Montville and cheer on the Whips in their final regular season game. Best of luck, Hags.
All right.
And if I don't see you before Florida, enjoy. I know we'll be texting. Good luck with the baseball season. Former Willimantic police officer, offensive coordinator for the Wyndham High football team, and head baseball coach at Wyndham High. Did I miss anything else?
Nope.
Mike Haggerty, our guest for episode 124 of Hometown Threads on 14 WILI 95.3 FM. Willimantic Today, Facebook, Spectrum 192. Thank you to Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. Thank you to J. Matt Rupar. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And in the words of the great Roddy McCumber,
bye for now, folks. Bye for now.
And that concludes another edition of Hometown Threads. Got a story for Keith? Reach out to him on Facebook by searching Keith C. Rice or email him at krice@hallradio.net. Don't forget to tune in next week on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM, as well as the Willimantic Today page on Facebook.